Greetings and salutations, greetings and salutations, greetings and salutations. My name is Fabian M. Thomas, and this is Season 4, Episode 4 of Fabian Seh. And, as is the way, I'm going to say something about something before the interview starts. And what am I saying? So this is a quote that became very popular when I use it in workshops and coaching sessions. I said, let me make it into like a meme. And it say, to be our better selves today, we cannot be who we were yesterday. Saints, I could talk a little bit about that. So writer Rita Mae Brown has a book in which one of her characters say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. To get a different result, we have to do something different. So if we're showing up in the world in a particular way, pairing with the same people, having the same conversations, preying the same things, as we say in Jamaica, we're not going to get a different result unless we do something different or if we change up the thing. So how we're showing up, who we're being, what we're believing about ourselves and the world impacts the results that we get. Serious thing. I remember when I was working in the recovery and drug use space, I used to say to some of my clients, if when you get clean or come out of rehab or go through harm reduction, you start to hang out with the same people that you were getting high with before, some who might still be getting high. If you're a recovering alcoholic and you're still going to places where they serve alcohol and the smell of alcohol is in the air, you have to do some different things that do not mimic and reflect what you used to do before. So to be our better selves today, we cannot show up as who we were yesterday, is what I'm saying for today. As we now go into my conversation for today, is with an artist, a man of many talents by the name of Garfield Morgan, and the episode is called Garfield Morgan, Turning Old into New, and you'll see why it has that title. Please help me welcome Garfield Morgan. Mr. Morgan, sir. How you doing?
How you doing? I'm good. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for the opportunity. I look forward to this.
And thanks for saying yes. I'm giving thanks and I'm grateful. Yeah. So, because as you see the episode name, Turning Old into New, so me not not as young as me used to be.
Totally.
We met at UWI, right?
Yeah.
What were you studying at UWI? Because I do not believe it was visual arts at the time.
Of course not.
It was not. What did you study at UWI?
It was a general arts degree. I was doing English literature, philosophy, economics. I can't remember if I was doing economics. Oh, did I say philosophy? A lot of mercy.
You did.
You see, you're coming to test my memory now. All right. So English literature, philosophy. I cannot remember, honestly.
And so that makes it, because that is why our paths cross so often, because I did mass comm and my minor was literature. So we had I did philosophy with Professor Wiggins.
Oh yeah.
And English, so yes, because I know we used to share space. I know we had classes together.
Yes, for sure.
And so then the visual arts journey and Edna Manley came after that degree?
Well, no, you're talking about degree. I never get a degree. I went there for a year and left. I realized early that I was not an academic.
You said this is not
the wise thing.
And you
so I only spent a year. Manley. I'm a dropout.
You found your way. You found your path. You found your true calling.
I'm wondering if I'm the first dropout that you're interviewing, actually.
I'm sure there are others that it just hasn't come up.
Well, here it is.
So you went on to Edna. You did what at Edna?
Well, actually, before Edna, I actually left UWI after a year and then went to work at, listen to this, Workers Savings and Loan Bank, because that is what it was called at the time. As if one frustration wasn't enough, I took on the bank. Don't know what the hell I was thinking.
Let's go into structured corporate.
Yeah. I lasted less than a year there.
Okay.
less than a year, and then eventually went to where I belong, Edna Manley College.
Right.
Well, it wasn't called that at the time, but the Edna Manley College, yeah, I ended up going there.
And your degree was in what?
Okay, so I did graphic design, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, because of course, in those days, it's all about the money, and we tell us
Yes.
that graphic design is where the money is, and so I ended up going into graphic design. But the universe had bigger plans for me, as I came to realize.
Because your graduate studies, then you landed in America for your graduate studies.
Yeah, and you should hear how that go. I actually applied to a university in a place called Nacogdoches in Texas.
Nacogdoches?
Nacogdoches, yeah. Don't. It's all right. You're not the only one who don't know where it is, because
I love
people.
I love the name.
I've
It
seen
sounds like it should be somewhere in Jamaica.
Listen, I've seen people in Nacogdoches wearing T-shirts that say, "Where the hell is Nacogdoches, Texas?" So don't feel no way. Anyway, let me tell you the story. I'm in Jamaica. I applied to a university in Texas to do advanced studies in graphic design. I'm accepted. Now, when I'm supposed to be leaving to go to school, Jamaica is under hurricane threat. So no plane not leaving Jamaica. 1 week pass. The following week, Miami is under hurricane threat. No plane not going into Miami. So 2 weeks.
You were the problem, Garfield. You were the problem.
Listen, Fabian, 2 weeks pass. I eventually get to Nacogdoches, Texas. I'm sitting in the chairman's office. And he says, Mr. Morgan, you're 2 weeks late. And if I didn't register you for some arbitrary courses, you would have been slapped with a late registration fee. What courses are you interested in? So I said to the gentleman, listen, if I don't do it in my first year, I have to do it in my second year. So just sign me up for whatever graphic design courses there are. He said, Mr. Morgan, that's all well and good, but the course you're talking about, we no longer offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that is how I ended up.
Again.
That is how I ended up in fine art.
Wow.
Yeah.
My absolute favorite Jamaican saying of all time is, what is for you cannot
be unfor you.
As I said, feel like, what? How me end up here, sir?
Listen, the universe had plans for me. I just didn't know.
There you go.
Fabian, I tell you this. If when I was in Jamaica, that gentleman had said to me, we don't offer graphic design, but you can come and do fine art. Me not going on that.
You said no, sir.
That would be the end of that.
See,
but the universe had to conspire to get me there, knowing that from I get there, I'm not leaving without that degree. So get him here, and then we get him in the thing.
And so, and just to add, so my producer, Michael Sean Harris, has reliably informed me that he is also a UWI dropout. So you're not alone. He said, don't feel company.
I guess I'm in good company then.
You're in good company.
Definitely.
So pre our path crossing, Garfield Morgan, where you born? Who is your people? Where
Under the clock.
Under the clock.
Jubilee, of course.
All right.
Yeah, in those days, things were different in Jamaica, obviously, because this is not yesterday. And I'm not telling the age, but we cross paths. You get an idea.
Indeed.
So yeah, born and bred in Kingston. Parents are actually from St. Elizabeth. Interesting story about how my father actually got here. And when I think about my parents and what they went through, the whole idea of me getting to a university and having to do courses that I never intended to do, that's a breeze compared to what they had to endure to get to where they eventually got to. So and even before that, our ancestors, and you know the story, they hollowed the transatlantic ship, and yeah. So with all of that backing, with all of those shoulders to stand on, yeah man, everything else is a breeze. Yeah man, my life easy.
And I say that all the time. I say, I know whose shoulders I stand on.
Yep.
I do not have the luxury of wasting my time or complaining.
Well said.
Because some people went through some things, so I can be here.
Yo.
My father said to me, and my father, where my father and I ended up in terms of a relationship, I would have said no way, because we had a rocky road. And went through your men, and I really got to rediscover him. He said to me, he had to walk barefoot when he was growing up. His children, he said, we must have the choice. And that was one of the simple life commitment that our lives should be different. We should choose not to wear the slippers and the shoes that we have. And I was like, wow, you can't argue with that. That is humbling. No matter all you want, because you say, daddy, you this and that. When a man says that to you, that part of my life's decision was that my children should be able to choose to walk barefoot as opposed to me not having a choice. Fabian. Yeah, and that's so important because you have gone on to do this thing. So the episode name Turning Old into New, and the image that stays in my head why it names so is you're doing that exhibition and you have how big was the pile of old clothes that you get that you asked for?
It was over 1,000 pounds. And in my naivety, I go to the people in place thinking, okay, so I'm going to get 1,000 pounds. And I had organized with somebody to come and pick it up. But you see, when you just deal with a shirt and a pants, you can't really fathom what 1,000 pounds is.
Of course.
When the man come out with the pallet and drop it, Mr. Ratted, how am I going to carry this? How am I going to carry this to the studio? And even so, how it going to get through the door of my studio? Listen, the man bring the pallet and just drop it. I'm going to say, okay then. First of all, I can't hold in the van that's coming. So I ended up having to buy a lot of garbage bags and just force them into each bag. I think we got over 30 bags. It took me several hours to pack the clothes into bags.
And give them the backstory. So that request for those clothes came out of what idea that you had at the time?
Okay, so upon reaching Edmonton, I saw where opportunities existing in Edmonton were very different from Montreal. And of course, for me, everything is an opportunity. So when I saw that grants were being awarded, you just needed to have, some ideas to tell them how you're going to execute it. So basically, I just decided that, listen, I'm going to explore using secondhand clothes to create my art. Three-dimensional art, two-dimensional art, whatever. And, they ask certain questions. I answer the question, put the proposal into the Edmonton Arts Council. Lo and behold, within a couple months, I'm given a grant to pursue this idea. So I'm so ratted. This is not real. Of course, I pursued the idea, did the work in my studio. And then the next thing is that I saw where an organization, Harcourt House Artist Run Center, they put out a call for people to submit proposals to become the artist in residence and to pursue certain ideas. So I basically pitched the same idea, but of course, adding to it based on having done the research, telling them that I do use secondhand clothes to create my art, three-dimensional, gave them more specifics because I'd done some experimentation in my studio. So I had a better grasp of what I could do, the capabilities, etc. Lo and behold, them give me the artist in residence. So I said, what? So now, that is when I realized we need enough clothes. The little 1 and 2 shirt and pants, so I made that experiment.
We're not going to cut it.
Clothes. Because you have to talk about installation now. You have to talk about creating sculpture, enough clothes. So, of course, I had meetings with some people at the Goodwill Impact Center here in Edmonton. Spoke to the gentleman, and he said, yes, Garfield, we can assist you, but we're not going to give it for free. So I got it at a very, very deep discount.
Right.
And we just arranged for me to go there and pick it up, of course. So I realized there's enough clothes. So the work started from me going to pick up the clothes, having to pack those things, lift up those bags, take them to the studio. And basically that was the beginning. I did the artist in residence, had the exhibition at the end. It was the artist in residence lasted 1 year. Did the exhibition at the end, and lo and behold, the next thing you know is that this very prestigious magazine, Preview, they actually requested to use one of my pieces on the cover of the magazine, which that was huge. I mean, that was a big thing.
Nice,
man. I mean, that's not an opportunity that come very regular. And for me, just having come here, having got the grant, having got the residency, and now the cover of a major magazine, now I'm a jump for that. So so that happened, and since then it's just been one thing after the other. My cup runneth over. Nice. Yeah, man. Actually, after that residency, after that exhibition, a gentleman from a place in Vermont, Cold Hollow Sculpture Park, based on what is happening in the United States, in terms of them wanting to kind of turn back the hands of time. I'm trying to be very politically correct and, and bring in all sorts of euphemism. But yeah, so he said he wanted to push back against a lot of what was happening, and especially towards Canada. So he decided that this year, I'm going to ensure that I get an artist in residence from Canada. And so he now went on Canada Artist website, and I was looking around and came across my page and said, this might be the person. So he contacted me directly and said, listen, are you interested in a residency? And that's it. In addition to that, the Edmonton Arts Council now, they actually funded me to go to the residency, and the exhibition that I had at Harcourt House at the end of my residency there, they actually funded a section of that going to Vermont, which was an exhibition from last year in July to about October last year. So even after I came back from the residency to Edmonton, the show was still on exhibition. I mean, it's been quite phenomenal. I mean, I am so grateful for I mean, from what seemed to have been an accident of me getting into fine art to where I'm at now, in looking back, no man, that was no accident. That was
no accidents.
As you said, what is fear cannot be
unfair. And I think there's a quote, I think it's from the Bible, that says a man's gift makes room for him.
Okay.
I believe that when we show up authentically, that's who we are, and do the work.
And
do our work.
Listen.
Doors open, opportunities happen out of the blue.
Listen.
Yeah.
Authentically. Yeah. All right, let me tell you this. After I finished studying in Nacogdoches and went back to Jamaica, I actually taught at the Edmonton College for a year.
Right.
And then I told myself that I was going to become a full-time artist in Jamaica. Yeah. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. It was challenging, to say the least. Yeah. Absolutely challenging. And listen, I had the good fortune of meeting my wife, Shelley, when I returned to Jamaica, soon after I returned in Jamaica. And let me tell you.
This is Shelley.
Listen.
People, who I had the distinct pleasure of working with at UE, Institute of Caribbean Studies. Fabian. And Shelley is a ray of delightful light, energy, vibe, personality. And then when you mentioned, and I said, wait there, Garfield Morgan, I went to you. I said, Garfield Morgan, the artist, is your husband.
Fabian, let me tell you something. I would not be sitting here if I hadn't met this woman. My life would have gone completely different if I hadn't met Shelley. Yeah, man. The support. As a matter of fact, early before we even started talking, I sent her a little website that I had from I was attending school. And I remember we had a telephone conversation like soon after that. And Shelley said something to the effect that, boy, you must be so close to God. I'm going to say, really, why you said that? She said, basically, your work and the expression, it is just more than this realm. And listen, I can't tell you verbatim what she said, but it absolutely blew my mind that this woman that I don't know from nowhere coming to tell me that my work is so great that, listen, out of that discussion, this woman started to refer to me as the greatest living artist. Up to today, she mentioned that to me. She said, Garfield, you're the greatest living. Now, when you have somebody like that in your corner, you cannot feel. Or if you try to feel, you can't feel.
Yeah. No, and I'm so she's gone to bodybuilding now, right? That is the latest. I was like, what?
No, but I tell you this, she has actually always been in bodybuilding. She was doing this from Jamaica. She had trophies from having entered competitions in Jamaica, actually.
Really? Yep. I didn't know that.
Yep. So this is really a continuation of what she has been doing practically all her life.
Nice. So you have to big her for me, hug her up.
For sure.
I love light and all these things.
Indeed.
And so your expression, so you look at things, like issues of exploitation, inequalities. You are a very kind of, the human experience centers your work. In your artist statement, absolutely, when you said by turning waste into wonder. Wow, I love that expression. My art transcends mere materiality serving as a testament to humanity's interconnectedness and the social cost of unchecked consumption.
Yeah, man. And the
Wow.
clothes, by the way, Fabian, is a
Yeah.
metaphor too. These
Yes.
discarded clothes,
Yes.
just like how we discard people. Yeah, man.
Yes.
If we give them the focus and the opportunity,
Yes.
they can listen. Fabian, this is old clothes that's on its way to be discarded somewhere.
And in Jamaica, we call it old brock.
There you go.
And even recently with Melissa, when I was working at Red Cross, you have to beg people, do not bring clothes you're gonna dump to give to people. Yeah. So something as an excuse to get rid of things. Something like, who is going to wear this, ma'am or sir? Who? Yeah. So this idea of how we discard things, but as you said, also people is a theme and a thread that runs through your work. Where did that come from? Where can you identify where that awareness or interest came from?
I think it started in the family. I'll tell you a story about my father. My father was like, okay. I remember saying to my sister once, after he had passed, she was asking, what is the memory that stands out most about our father? And this was my thing to say. I said, listen, there was a bakery in Jamaica where my father had some connections. And so, for example, when the dates would expire on the baked products, they'd throw them away.
Yes.
My father is living in a community where you have abject poverty. And the fact that a bun or a bread is past the date by a day or two, that not going to harm that man, because the alternative is that he's going to go hungry. And I'm sure that any man who is hungry would much rather eat something that is outdated than not eat at all. So my father would collect these buns and he'd go around the community and distribute them to people who want them.
Yeah.
I remember a brethren come to my father and he's standing at the gate with my father. And based on the interaction, you couldn't tell who was the giver and who was the receiver. That is the level of humility that my father had.
Yeah.
Yeah. You couldn't tell that he was the one that was doing the giving.
Yeah.
Because there was no ego. There was no sense of, may I do this for you, or, you're down there. Equal interaction. So I grew up in a home where people were humble. You go to church because you have to go to church.
Hello.
and you learn humility, you learn to appreciate, and it's humble beginnings. We were broke, but we weren't poor. Because as much as things were challenging, the material things and the food, we always had a certain level of consciousness. I grew up in a house that had people like Martin Luther King Jr.'s portrait, Marcus Garvey. Yeah, man. As a matter of fact, I remember as a child growing up, we had a little turntable, and we had Martin Luther King's "I Had a Dream" speech. We could almost say that verbatim. We knew the speech. So we grew up right. Yeah, man.
And those things are important. So when I do work with parents or even in schools, just the environment that children are raised in is not about gadgets and money and big car. It is about what's going on. What is the conversation? What's the ethos and the energy in the space? What are the examples? Your father showing you the example of humility and grace. Those are things that imprint us. That we carry with us, and that when we get into our own and we start to shape, influence how we show up in the world. And it's so important.
For sure.
Generally, because this is what grounds us. This is where this is our origin. This is where we come from.
Of course.
And then we get to add on to that as we get older. But there's something, that foundation of respect and love, and what the service look like, and what Martin Luther King or Marcus Garvey, or all these people. What does that mean to us and our consciousness is incredibly important.
Yes. As a matter of fact, okay, so I'm the last of 8 children. I have 2 brothers. As I said, we grew up in very humble circumstances. So I used to get the hand-me-downs. So from very early, I had an affinity and an association with old clothes.
Yes.
And of course, out of that, I have to stitch it to preserve it. So, I mean, when I got to Edmonton now and I'm doing this experimentation with old clothes, it's not new to me. It's almost second nature.
Familiar territory.
So when people are seeing it and whoa, that is nice, and I mean, this is something that comes naturally for me.
You've lived it.
There you go.
It's your
This is
lived
my lived
experience.
experience I'm putting on canvas, but it's just that them not from that place. So them seeing it as art only, not knowing the backstory that this is my survival.
Yes.
This is how I had clothes to wear.
And a lot of times artists say that, and I think even sometimes we don't know the back when you feel a certain artistic expression.
Yeah.
And I've always been very open to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people, when them open their mouth and sing a song, they're not just sing a song. It's gospel, it's testament. Yep. It coming from a different, and some people you hear them sing things before, but I said this song here, hold them. This song right here, or this performance, and some people had it all the time. Like I remember my father had a massive vinyl collection, which is what grows my love of music and my love of many genres of music. Mm-hmm. Donny Hathaway's music used to frighten me as a kid. Mm-hmm. When I got older, I understood. Donny was singing through schizophrenia. He was singing through voices in his head. He was singing through writing songs with the TV on and the radio on. There was something, there was this amazing light and energy in his music. Mm-hmm. Nina Simone's voice immediately, and still Aretha Franklin sang for a place like, sometimes Aretha start a song and you say, Mama Aretha, if you start here, so where you going go?
Yeah.
And then you hear the stories that she was recording one time and she just disappeared, like she didn't show up for like 2 days, which was completely unlike her. And then she turned back up and said, okay, let's go. Like, and I don't think she ever explained, but because she had a tumultuous personal life. But that kind of artistic expression at how we show up in the world as artists is grounded and rooted in our lived experience, who we are, and that authenticity that is unmistakable, and as you said, gets you into places and spaces. So you've done at least 12 solo exhibitions or more in your career so far, and at least 25 group exhibitions. You've been busy, man. You've been busy.
Well, I tell you something, before I actually left Jamaica to come to Canada, galleries were closing on right, left, and center in Jamaica. And truth be told, there were probably only 2 spaces that you could get exhibited. And one of them was the National Gallery. And that's if your work was accepted to show in the Biennale. And then the other space was at Olympia Gallery. I've up to when I left Jamaica, I'd never exhibited in the National Gallery. And so basically, Olympia Gallery was the only place. There was the that
Mutual Life Gallery.
Well, they had closed down by the time I was leaving.
Oh yeah, they were on for a while.
That place on there was this other little. Well, it actually wasn't
Red Bones
gallery per se. Red Bones. There you go. So I've actually had exhibition. But the thing about it is, round about that time, Red Bones had moved from that location off Lady Musgrave Road, and they were going to some other location, and the gallery wasn't ready yet. So essentially, Rosie Thwaites up by Olympia was the only place that you could show. Right. And I showed there several times. I mean, you can only do so much and no more. So I'm saying this to say that I'm in Jamaica, not very many opportunities to show. So when I come to a place like this, where there are so many opportunities, listen, right now, I mean, I'm part of a group show in Jamaica. Well, I made the Biennale, the Biennale this year. Well, the physical work isn't there, but there's a photograph of me and the work in the booklet.
Right.
The work couldn't travel, so they did that. Rose Thwaites actually just an exhibition just ended. I think it was yesterday. Curator's Choice by Olympia Gallery. I was in a part of that.
Nice.
I now have a 2-person exhibition by Strathcona here in Canada. I'm here organizing for an exhibition in April of this year, which is, I have to go talk about that later, because this is something that has taken my work to a different level.
Nice.
I mean, so I'm saying all of that to say, when the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to dive at it, because I can't be in a space where there's little or no opportunity to exhibit. Wish that I would have had more, and then come in a space where there is more and don't make use of the opportunity.
Yeah, as you Jamaica, not lele, not keep, not lele.
Hello. Yeah, man. Yeah.
And then you've also been published as well. So
You said
Yeah,
published, like as a writer.
like so publications and media is in your space
Oh,
as well.
well, yeah, I've been written about. Yeah.
Yeah,
When you said
yeah.
published, I thought you meant that I wrote something.
Speaking it into being.
well, who knows? That
Whether
might be.
whether it's your memoirs or a
There you
scholarly
go.
dissertation on something.
Indeed.
Is there, so you say you're working on something now, is there, when you look at the journey and the trajectory of your journey as an artist,
Mhm.
is there a space or expressions you want to explore, something that might be nudging you or calling you to experiment or dabble in as your journey continues?
Perfect question, perfect timing. So, a couple weeks ago, I attended a function here in Edmonton. Met a gentleman. So while we're in the space and we're introduced to each other as artists, he says, I'm going to be having an exhibition in this space in April. So I said, really? He says, yes, man. Some friends and I are getting together. And so I said, do you own the building? He said, no. My friend owns the building, but he has given it to us to, have an exhibition here. So we said, okay, fine. So we arranged to have a meeting, which we did earlier last week. This gentleman is part of a group that's planning an exhibition titled Sensory. And essentially, what it does is, well, it's billed as the most accessible art festival in Canada. And it has this billing because it aims to reach people who are visually impaired, deaf, neurodivergent in whatever way. And so when I sat down and spoke to this gentleman and he showed me like some of the works that were included in last year's work, it completely overhauled my approach to my work. Because, okay, so all along, especially working with secondhand clothes, there's always texture in it, whether in a three-dimensional context or whether in a two-dimensional. Because when you lay down clothes, it ruffles. So there's always that element of the texture in it.
Right.
But there was a particular piece of work that I had in my show at the end of my artist in residence at Harcourt House, where I titled the work Hope in Braille. So what I did is I laid clothes on the base of the canvas, and then the word hope was spelled using Braille. So there are 12 individual pieces to create the word. Now, when I did that piece of work, in each of those areas where the character goes, I had a mirror. And the idea that when you look at it, you see a reflection. So you are the hope. You need to curb your consumption, because we each need to do our part to overcome this problem that the whole world has. Since having met this gentleman, I showed him the work and he said, oh, that's perfect. That is just gonna fit. But I said, I can make this more interactive. I can make this more inclusive. What I've done since that, and I'm actually in the process of doing it now, each of those areas where I had that mirror reflecting, I've now put a small circular light fixture. So what's going to happen is that people can now come and press the button, because they're kind of like buttons. When you press them, they light up. So it still spells hope, and each of the 12 characters are there spelling the word hope. But more than just your reflection now, you're interacting with it. And that I did deliberately, bearing in mind the people who are, visually impaired, who are deaf, because for someone who's blind, you can't really see the work. You have to touch it. Right. So now I've never actually done a piece of work before that people can interact with in terms of touch. Usually you don't touch my work, regardless of how textured or how
but generally in the art space, you don't touch the artwork.
There you go. So I'm deliberately doing this work, inviting people to touch it. First time in my life I've done anything like that.
Nice. Exciting. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Another level. And that inclusion, because one of the things that I have thought about, I haven't done it as much as I want to, is even that thing with theater and plays, having somebody signing.
Yeah.
Having things, it braille so people can access it, accessibility, and then people who view and see things differently.
There you go.
And so I love that journey that you and a lot of artists were making. So how do we broaden this thing, and how do we revisit and reshape what the artistic experience and access looks like.
I mean, I would not be in this place if I hadn't met this gentleman, because I was just doing my art. But you get to a place now where the question that you've just asked, I've now have to ask myself that question, and out of that, I've now produced this work, and believe me, this is going to be the first of many.
Yes.
Yeah, man, because it has completely kind of rewired my whole focus on what can be and how inclusive it can be as well.
Yeah. So it really becomes an immersive and interactive communal experience, as opposed to here's the art.
Don't touch the art.
Don't touch that. And it's theater. You've come to watch some theater.
Interestingly, one of the things I usually say about my art is that, for example, when I use things like secondhand clothes, the African wax fabric and stuff like that, one of the things I usually say is I use everyday items to kind of remove that mystique of what art is. So that the common man coming into the gallery and seeing, it's a ratty, but no one pants that, no one shirt that. How come that is art? How come that in that? So he becomes a part of the conversation in terms of even what is art, what can be art, the possibilities. So now this is actually a continuation of my aesthetic in a sense. It's just that it's becoming even more inclusive now and removing that barrier that exists.
In theater, we say you've moved the fourth wall.
Okay.
Taking away the fourth wall, so we're not acting like the audience not there.
Yeah.
And some plays and playwrights do that deliberately, where you talk to the audience.
Yes.
But in in classic theater, there's the fourth wall. Is the wall between you and the audience. So you don't acknowledge them. They're not supposed to talk to you.
Right.
And then some people can say, suppose we make the audience talk to you. Suppose we talk to them. And in Jamaica, Roots Theater did and does that a lot.
Yes.
To the point where some of us who weren't doing Roots Theater, when you come and say, why does that lady keep shouting at me? Because she expects you to answer her back.
Definitely.
And she not top shout till you say, yes, me did.
Yes.
And so there was this struggle because a lot more people were being introduced to stage people that were going to Roots Theater. And so when them come to a regular play in the television out there, them are talk to the character because you are to answer them.
Yes.
That immersive experience. Exciting times, exciting journey. So what I want to do, you sent me some images. I want to bring up the images and have you just talk to us about them.
Okay.
When them come up. So let's talk to us about
the title of this is black. Well, not black and gold. It's actually black gold. Black gold.
Okay.
And of course, I put a lot of female in my work. Partly, well, I mean, I grew up in a house with 5 sisters and a mother.
Right.
So, say I respect the female energy maximum.
Right.
So when I do things like this, it's to honor womanhood, black womanhood. The title is Black Gold for a reason. Despite all the struggles, despite all of the erasure, the attempts at demeaning, man, we're here. But in addition to all of what you see on the surface, if you look deep into this work, in where the skin would be, you're seeing iconography from the Yoruba, from the Yoruba cosmology, and that now is one of the latest things I'm doing. Where I recently found out that I share 99.7% DNA with the Yoruba peoples of Nigeria. Yes. And this has added another dimension to my art because I don't do anything these days artistically without thinking Yoruba, where it all started, and how I can incorporate elements of that. So this now, if you look closely, you see those faces speaking at you. But in addition to that, that area where the skin should be is something called that's actually charcoal, activated charcoal.
Right.
This comes from the Brita filters that we use here at home. That substance that filters the water. Yes. And I thought that was a very, very profound metaphor for Black people. Yeah, we've been through granted, the activated charcoal is filtering water, but we've been through the fire. Yeah, and so something that is destined to be discarded now is being used in a work of art purposely. And by the way, as we speak, this piece is part of the current exhibition I have in Strathcona County. The title of that exhibition is Being and Becoming. And this thing that should have been discarded is sitting on very pristine walls in a gallery.
And
so there we go again. The discard being reappropriated in circles that are esteemed for other expression.
Niceness. Next one.
Okay. This is very significant on several levels. There's a gentleman named Benan Lutaya that I discovered, an artist from, I think, Uganda originally, who got a residency. And while he's doing the residency, he ran short of materials. So he ended up using newspaper, all sorts of debris that was around it to create his art. And it was absolutely beautiful. So it was very inspirational to me. So I approached this thinking about all of what he had done and what he had gone through. And so I created this piece of work. Lo and behold, a couple of years later, I'm on this man's Facebook page to see people expressing condolences. Someone said, what? The man apparently had cancer and passed away at a very young, like he was 30 a little bit. Wow. And it really did move me. Interestingly, soon after that, I was contacted by NBC, the people who were doing this program. So you had Will Smith's program, and they were doing a takeoff of that. And they were soliciting artwork to stick up in the whatever. While they're shooting the movie, they'd have artworks in the various people. Yeah, so they actually contracted this one, and it was put in this way. And I thought that was kind of fitting as an ode to Benan Lutaya. And it's interesting because I'd done this ode to him while he was alive.
Right.
And then he's since passed. And then the work was, given more prominence in a sitcom. So I felt good about the journey that I've gone through and for what ended up happening to it.
Nice. Next one.
Okay. Interestingly, this started out being a portrait of my mother, who passed away in 2021.
Right.
And it was being done realistically, and it was looking like her, but somehow I thought it didn't really capture her. Because for me, my mother is larger than life. In terms of, by the way, I didn't mention this. My mother's mother died when she was 2 years old. I only found this out like a couple years before my mother passed away in 2021. Since I come to Canada, I realized I found that out. And this goes to tell you that my mother was the type of person that never had time for self-pity. Because that narrative never came. While we are growing up, she wasn't pitying herself to say, well, my mother died. No. She had 8 children. She needs to focus on this. This needs to happen. That needs to happen. We need to survive this. We need to get over that. So it tells you the nature of the woman that is my sister tell me that when me come to Canada. I grew up not knowing that my mother's mother had passed away when she was 2. Now, can you imagine now? I guess there was no father in the picture because I've never heard anything about her father. Her mother dies when she's 2. Can you imagine the life now? To then come to have 8 children and to ensure that, listen, all 8 of them gonna have to do what needs to be done to get to the place where they need to get to. Yeah, man. So, when I was doing a portrait of my mother and it was looking like her, I say, yeah, but me not feeling it.
Not capturing the fullness.
Yeah, man. So remove any element of being able to describe her or put her in a box. She outside of any box.
Yeah.
Hence the dribble. And in addition to that, now, if you look closely, you'll see the Yoruba images peeking through some of those dark areas.
Yeah.
Because interestingly, she passed away not knowing about her Yoruba heritage. But the interesting thing is that as a child growing up, she'd go out and purchase masks, statuettes, and stuff that look very much like some of these things that I see in the books.
Echoes in the blood. Echoes in the blood.
Thank you very much. DNA memory.
Yep.
Yeah, man. AI, as them call it, ancestral intelligence.
Very much so.
Yeah, man. So it's all there.
Niceness. And last but by no means least, who this?
It's okay. So when I went to school in Jamaica, I did graphic design, as I told you.
Right.
I did advanced studies and I did fine art, but I never went through learning how to paint. Meaning, by the time I get to Texas to do my advanced degree, the whole business of teaching how to mix paint and how you did it, no, it's all about ideas and big ideas and, you know, metaphors and associations and all the big ideas. So I never had that opportunity. So having come to Edmonton now, I came across a gentleman who was teaching painting. Brilliant gentleman, originally from Eritrea, Fetsum Teklamarian. Brilliant teacher, brilliant artist, speaks 7 languages and all that. Anyway, went to his classes for about 6 to 7 months, actually learned how to paint. So this is actually one of my first pieces untutored, because everything I've done in terms of realistic painting was in his class. And so I decided, you know, let me do something on it. So this was the first piece I did untutored. And truth be told, since having done it, I haven't done much painting like this, because for me, it's not about realism. And this is not me knocking realism. It has its place. But for me, it's more than about realism. It's about metaphor. It's about incorporating things to break down that fourth wall, as you say. So yeah, I mean, I like the idea of having done this. I will do more realistic paintings, but this was to get to a place where I could learn it, do it. And so it's an option now. I could do this, or I could do other things. But as it stands now, for where my headspace is at and for what I want to get done, it's less about realism and look-alike, and it's more about ideas and incorporating elements that probably make the idea more profound and all-embracing.
Niceness. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. What an impressive, yeah, man. Nice. And that finding self and expression, and also the journey to get there. You know, and living this life and being in a point now where you are like, you can look at what's next. What do I want to do different? What's the road I haven't traveled yet? What's the new adventure? Is an awesome place to be. I think as an artist, but also as a human being, as a spiritual human being, having a spiritual being, having a human experience generally, to say what's the next adventure? Where am I going next? Is a wonderful thing. So I am I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. And again, I remember you all at UE, you had such a strong but quiet grace.
Oh, well, thank you.
In the way you carried it and present, but you also, I remember your smile, and it was a very warm and genuine smile. Because I remember just like, Garfield, and it's nice to see people from a stage in your life as we all take our journeys, get to a place. Because I believe you must celebrate and be happy for people, even if they're not in your immediate circle.
Thank you very much.
There's enough grace and love and everything to go around. We don't have to hug it up and keep it close to our chest. So I want to thank you for saying yes to this.
Well, thank you for offering.
I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation and looking forward to what you'll do in the future. And who knows what we may do together in the future.
You never know.
That's out there. So when people come on the show at the end, we get to do something light that's not interview related.
Okay.
You have 3 options and you can pick one.
Okay.
So one is called Jamaican Proverbs and Such Delights. The other category is movie and TV things. And the other one, because it's Black History Month in Jamaica and Reggae Month, so Reggae Run-Ins is the other category. What are you choosing? Jamaican Proverbs and Such Delights, movie and TV things, or Reggae Run-Ins?
But I think I better stick with the Jamaican Proverbs.
All right, let us see. What is the meaning of the Jamaican proverb, Chicken Mary, hark the near? Yeah,
if you get too excited or too happy, you might meet a Waterloo around the corner. don't get overexcited. Just
quite so.
Well, they on an even keel, because you just never know what's around the corner.
Quite so. What is this describing? Or what is this? Hella top, hella bottom, hallelujah in the middle.
You know, I've heard the expression and I don't know. I've never actually used it. I've heard it used. Hella top, hella bottom, hallelujah.
Is baking. So it's either apparently before stove and all these things, this is how people used to make pudding.
Okay.
Cornmeal and potato pudding. So you had coal at the top, coal at the bottom, and you put the mix in the middle.
Okay.
Yes.
Whoa. Can you imagine it took me this long to find that out? And I've heard the expression all my life.
Hallelujah in the middle.
Okay.
According to the Jamaican proverb, fill in the blanks.
Okay.
You're going to find out which part dash what got a dash belly.
You're going to find out
which part
water what pumpkin belly.
Quite so.
Yeah, well, that's easy, man.
Quite so. And it's like, again, I love to, all proverbs and expressions, because it's that thing of, pumpkin grow on the vine, the pumpkin is big.
Yeah.
How you get the water? How does it, so you're going to learn the intricate, you're going to find out today, when I say, how this thing go.
Yeah.
All right. What does this Jamaican proverb mean? And at the same time leaf drop a river bottom, it rotten.
Well, I could put it this way simply, like everything will reveal itself right now. Give some time and you see the real thing or the outcome or the consequences or whatever like that.
Quite so. Yeah, go on, good man.
Well, hello, a country my parents come from, and enough of these expressions we used to hear them. And in fact, that chicken Mary heart then here, that's what I've used in my direction so many times that I had to know the meaning of that one. Or at least feel the meaning of that one.
All right, so we'll close out. So this one now. People no stone mango tree when it now bear.
Whoa. Never heard that one before. But based on how it sounds, you basically don't waste your time. Because if there's no mango tree, then you're not getting a mango. So don't do an activity that won't result in any reward. I don't know.
And that's an interesting interpretation. I like that.
Okay.
But here what them said actually mean, it mean that if not now go on in your life, people not gonna chat to you. So don't feel
really
people, yes. Because you have beer, why them a throw stone after you?
Okay.
You have beer fruitage, things that go on for you.
I see what you mean.
If what's going on for you, they wouldn't wash them up for you. I love that. So people no stone mango tree when it nah beer.
Okay.
So there's something desirable, something that people they want.
Yep.
Why them wash them up? But yeah.
I get it.
So people no stone mango tree when it nah beer.
Okay. And
that chicken Mary heart they're near because another one is where Hardy's picnic dead. What happened to Hardy's picnic?
This is how I learned it in school, actually. In primary school, Maxwell Park Primary. And the teacher used to sing it daily. Hardy's picnic, bite rockstone before them.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
In fact, I think we used to sing it. And that was an indication that the belt near and whatever else is near, you make sure you act right.
There's two verses. I've heard that Hardy's picnic, Nam Rockstone. The other one is Hardy's picnic, dead as sun hot.
Okay, never heard that one before though.
Sun gonna burn them because they don't listen them out in a hardship.
Okay.
So Hardy's picnic.
Yep.
Yes. Garfield Morgan, my brother. Thank you. This was an absolute delight.
Yeah.
As I said, we are come from 4.
But I tell you, when
we did young, you see my great. I said when they be in the couple here, and people are loving. I'm like, no, this. When I have a food, it's very, very great. People, it looks so good. They say on the lucky, but I know that even though the goatee is gray, so I'm gracefully accepting it.
I want to think that I'm still young, so I just make sure I shave it off.
You're not even mother kid. You're just like off.
Shave it
off with it. Thank you again for saying yes. I am affirming greater and more exciting adventures as you continue. Blessings, love, and light.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This has been episode 4 of season 4 of Fabian Seh. And today, this is Garfield Morgan turning old into new. Peace and love.